thought that was beautiful and a wonderful example of humility and a willingness to be vulnerable and what that says about leaders and really what would happen if more leaders could have the approach of being vulnerable and being humble at times.
Absolutely, Eddie. And I'm sure that you're coming across that we're seeing lots of more demand for a humble leader and a vulnerable leader. And while that's good for us coaches to talk about, Eddie, and people kind of head nod when we do, it really, really works. And, in the sense of humility is not prostrating yourself in front of others, but it's a recognition of one's shortcomings and a willingness to openly discuss them, not in a woe is me attitude, but from a leadership perspective to say, hey, this is not my strong suit, but I know somebody on my team like Eddie, who's great in finance or great in strategy or whatever. And I surround myself with people better than me in specific arenas. That's a sense of humility. And it's also when we make a mistake, we have the courage to stand up and apologize and not just say, if I've offended anybody, but talk about how you've hurt someone. And more importantly, we always need, when an apology, is to couple it with amends. How will you make it right? And that's where vulnerability comes in, showing my shortcomings. And a leader who doesn't acknowledge shortcomings is a leader who's really a weak leader, who's cutting him or herself off from the support of others, but also, as you well know from coaching, Eddie, that lack of self-knowledge will hurt them in the long run because they won't have the coping skills when adversity strikes.
Absolutely. Very well said, John. And I chuckle a bit because there's nothing worse than an apology that begins with the word if.
That's a good one. That's a great, I'm going to steal that, Eddie. That's a good one.
I just had this situation with a client the other day. It was like, no, let's try that again.
Right.